In Massachusetts, over 500,000 residents rely on private wells for their drinking water. However, unlike public water systems, these wells are not subject to any statewide regulations or requirements for routine water quality testing. Many residents who rely on private wells are consuming water that may be unsafe. Naturally occurring contaminants in well water can include substances such as arsenic, E. coli, radon, and uranium, which can lead to both short-term and long-term health impacts. From 2020 to 2022, RCAP Solutions conducted 502 water quality tests across several Massachusetts towns which had a high concentration of private wells. We discovered that approximately 32% of wells had levels of contaminants exceeding state health standards and/or suggesting potential health risks. Man-made PFAS contaminants have also posed a growing concern. In fact, the Massachusetts Department of Environmental Protection's recent private well PFAS sampling program found that approximately 5% of wells had levels of PFAS exceeding state health standards. These toxic forever chemicals can contaminate groundwater sources and cause a slew of human health impacts. RCAP Solutions has partnered with the Health Foundation of Central Massachusetts and several other organizations to form the Coalition for Safe Drinking Water. This coalition is currently engaged with key stakeholders and government officials to advocate for sensible, health-based regulations for private wells and financial resources for homeowners who discovered contaminants in their well water.
I'm Joanne Michaud, and I live in Lakeville, Massachusetts. We moved here in December of 1999, so we've lived here just over 22 years. We have well water that we use for drinking and bathing and any other household purpose. Knowing how prevalent bacterial and other contamination is, I've always tested my well water regularly, and I always wanted to make sure that it was safe to drink. I happened to go on the Town of Lakeville website and saw the PFAS, the PFAS testing announcement that was sponsored by the state of Massachusetts, and I signed up for that, and my well water did get tested under that program, which incidentally uncovered small amounts of PFAS, and as a result of being involved in that program, I was contacted by RCAP to go further and test my well for additional contaminants, including arsenic. I did find that out pretty quickly, that testing is completely up to the homeowner and remediation is also up to the homeowner. So I have totaled up everything I've spent over the years, and since moving in here 22 years ago, the non-recurring work and equipment is about $16,000, and then recurring expenses average about $630 a year. So it's all a pretty substantial investment. I think the thing that's the hardest, in addition to the expense, is just the unpredictability and the stress associated with it, because when you find that you've been drinking water that's been potentially contaminated, or if you find a new contaminant that you've never tested for before, it can be pretty scary. Knowing that you're on a town water system, at least you know that there are professionals that are monitoring it, and the people who have their own private wells are really on their own. And I think that any kind of a financial assistance program that's sponsored by the state would be beneficial for homeowners with private wells, and I definitely think that the government should be involved in the monitoring and remediation of private well water. The state government owes it to its citizens to protect them by facilitating clean water supplies, and however they can do that.
For more information about private wells, potential contaminants, why regulations are needed, and to join the Coalition for Safe Drinking Water, please visit what'sinyourwellwater.org.